Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of Texas Game Hunters. On this week's episode, we're headed down to South Texas, Luis, Texas, to Seven Oaks Ranch. Now, we've done a couple episodes there in the past for deer and hog. This episode's a little bit different even for us. We're gonna go out there for some coyote hunting. Personally, I've actually never hunted coyotes before, so we're going to request the help of a professional. Charles, who's one of our avid members, that's all he does is coyote hunt. He sent us out a game caller, gave us some tips on what calls to use and how to do it, but I still have a few more questions for him before I head out there. And I want to video this episode because I know a lot of us deer hunters, hog hunters, don't get out predator hunting as much as we want, and I know a lot of us want to dip our feet into it, which is what I'm doing this weekend. So how do you get started with that? But hopefully we all learn from it, and hopefully we get some on the ground. So let's give Charles a call and see if he can't get us started.
Hello?
Charles, how's it going, sir?
Hey, you're pretty good. How's it going for you guys?
Good. So we're headed out to the ranch, and as you know, this is my first coyote hunt. So you're the professional,
Right.
And once again, thank you for sending us out the Fox Pro, so we can have a chance.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So you have a few favorites set on there that you would recommend for a first-time caller, just sort of a go-to type thing on a. And we haven't scouted this land, so what would you recommend on what you have set on the collar of the first day out versus the second day of hunting?
Now, the first thing I'd advise to a new person is if I know everybody's right now talking about vocals and everything, but the thing about vocals is if you're not real familiar with them, I would stay away from them. So going into a blind property, I would stick more to the prey distress, rabbits or birds. Usually my favorite is I like to start off with nutty nuthatch, play it for 5 to 6 minutes, set and watch, and then maybe go into a rabbit distress for another 5 to 6 minutes. And then me personally, I always like to end my stand with some type of pup distress. Not really any particular one that I'll name, but just your choice.
So
Library.
So we're gonna set up, and we're probably gonna want an average of 100-yarder shot or less. How far away should we set the collar and the decoy away from us to get started? Uh-oh, dude. I lost him. Let's get him back. Driving out to the boonies. That's what happens.
I'm not able to take your call at this time.
Oh, he's calling me. Hey, sorry about that. We dropped you.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so you're getting to your setup.
Yep. So we're gonna want like a 100-yarder in shot. So about how far should we set the collar up away from us to get sort of that 50 to 100-yard shot?
Now, I normally set the collar 40 to 50 yards out in front of me, and then depending on the wind direction, I'll set it to where the call is more to the upwind side, because a coyote will generally try to circle downwind on a prey distress. So you want them to where if they try to circle the collar downwind, it'll put it more in front of you. So depending on your wind situation, I mean, the wind is the most critical thing to a coyote, man. You definitely want to have the wind in your favor, because if a coyote smells you, you're not going to see. So normally what I like to do is I like to set the collar 40 to 50 yards out in front of me and to my upwind or crosswind side, which would cause the coyote, if he circles downwind, he would more or less be in front of me.
Okay, awesome. And how far is the range on the remote that comes with that Fox Pro, the Heatwave? The Shockwave, sorry.
I've never really tested the remote for range, but 40 or 50 yards would be perfect. I mean, you won't have any problems, but I believe it's advertised as 100 yards line of sight, I believe.
Okay.
But like I say, I've never really tested, never really set the caller out and just walked away from it to see how far it actually works.
All right, sweet. And so with starting off with some of the distress calls, you say call about, how long would you use each call, and then how long in between would you rest and watch before you start up another distress?
Now I would start off my first distress. Generally, a coyote can cover a mile in 4 minutes if he's on a good pace. So I normally try to stick my calling to 5 to 8 minutes, and then I'll stop for a minute or two, and then start up with my next sound, usually about a minute, and then I'll try my next sound and play it for 4 to 8 minutes. And then on my pup distress, I normally just go right into it after whatever my last sound would be at about the 15 to 20 minute mark on stands, which brings me to stand total time. I generally don't spend more than 25 or 30 minutes on stand. If I haven't seen anything, it's generally time to get up and move to a new spot after about 30 minutes.
And you want to move about a quarter mile away, you were saying before, correct, when you change stands at least?
Yeah, I would say at least a quarter mile, but then depending on the wind and how bad the wind is, the windier days you can make stands closer together. If it's a good calm day, you want to at least go a quarter mile.
Okay. And we sent you that map of the area, and we're going to be it's a very dense area outside the high fence. The coyotes have been coming in the high fence and taking out some of his trophy deer. So outside the high fence, there's this nice long pipeline and then this creek, and according to the owner, along the creek has a pretty good line of sight. It's pretty thin along the creek. So we're gonna do a couple stands along the pipeline and a couple along that creek on the outside of the fence. And so about 25, 30 minutes.
In a quarter mile, use the left 2 lanes to take the Texas 71 East ramp to Austin.
Yeah, I generally stick to 25, 30 minutes on a stand and then move a quarter mile or so. But there again, like I say, it depends on your wind. If you're calling in a high wind situation, generally you can call your stands close together.
Okay.
But as a general on a calm day, you want to move at least a quarter mile.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate your time, sir. I'll probably be calling you again before the weekend's out. So as things change.
That'll work.
3 miles.
Well, we appreciate it. We're going to head on out. We're going to do some scouting today and see what we can come up with. And after this rain breaks, because it's raining all day today, we're going to try to maybe hunt in between the rains when they're out prowling today, and then tonight after dark when the rain stops.
That'll work. Good luck.
All right, thank you, sir. Have a good day.
You too. Thank you.
All right. Well, you heard the man. Hopefully you guys took notes. We took mental notes. We always have the tape to play back while we're out there if we need some more. But stay tuned. We'll be there soon, and we'll get out to scouting and see if we can't get something on the ground.